Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. We're excited to have attendees both in person as well as virtual on Zoom. Sorry. If you're a visitor online and would like to be added to our mailing list, you can put your name and email address in the chat box area on Zoom. I feel like I'm getting echo. Are you guys okay with no echo? Okay, it's me. If you're visiting in person this morning, you can stand and introduce yourself if you like. Do we have visitors? I see some. Anyone want to stand up? Do you want to stand up? Hi, Kate. Welcome.
I'm from Long Island, and I don't know anyone here, so I couldn't wait to get to your
Good.
piece.
I think we have some Long Islanders.
Sure. Hi, Stephen. Here with my family. You'll hear more from them in a bit. We're all visiting from Beacon.
Ah.
And I'm Haley. And thank you, everybody's been so welcoming.
Good. We do have some childcare during the service if you'd like. Jane can, if she hasn't already talked to you about that. Okay. Welcome. I am your worship associate, Kathy Atwell, and we're doing a, what is it, the tag team.
Yeah.
Vickie will be doing part of the service and I'm doing part of the service. You can visit our website, ucatskills.org, to find contact information, to be added to our mailing list, and to find the latest newsletter. You can also find newsworthy items on upcoming events in our UU community on the back of your program. There is a space across the hall for anyone who would like to hear the service while being able to freely move about. After the service, please stay and chat and talk to each other or a virtually coffee break. All right, I'd like to ask you all to take a moment and turn off your electronic devices. Turn your phone off. If you are connected to the Wi-Fi, we'd like you to turn your Wi-Fi off. Sometimes we get too many people. And give yourself permission to be fully present here. I have some announcements. Okay, I know what they are. The first is Kathy DiMatteo is still looking for people to do our social hour host. You'll notice it's a little quiet over in that corner this morning. We did not have any volunteers to do the social hour. It is done by volunteers. You can find the contact information in our weekly newsletter or in the monthly newsletter. Weekly update, monthly newsletter. Second, today I wore my blue jeans. Today is Blue Jeans Sunday, which means that some of us stick around, and you're all invited, if you don't have too fancy clothes, stick around and do things around the property. Now, I don't know if any of you noticed a big old dumpster back there in Reverend Margaret's parking space, which is a little, sorry, Reverend Margaret, we didn't mean to put a dumpster in your parking space, but we are going to start trying to clean up some of the property. Blue Jean Sunday. Okay, those are the two. And then I have another one that I just replenished our Adams Farm Acre gift cards. We have $50 gift cards that we sell, and we make $5 a card. We ran out, luckily, and I got some more, so we're all good. And the holidays are coming up. Make great gifts. Or if you do your shopping at Adams, you can buy from me on Sunday, or if Palmer or Lois are here. Okay. Each Sunday, the Social Action Committee shares notice of events, opportunities, or ideas that provide an easy way to support our justice work beyond our four walls and inspire questions and discussions to explore during our social hour and beyond. Today, our Social Action Minute, we will hear from Donna Schleckman.
Good morning, Donna Schlockman, she, her. Common ground. Don't you just love the sound of that? Finding common ground, standing on common ground, searching for common ground. Such a positive, forward-looking place to occupy. So the Social Action Committee is asking you to join us in an experience of common ground. There is the documentary being shown by us in partnership with the Kingston Land Trust. So a few of you saw it here last spring, but a lot of people missed it and we're sorry. It's about real farmers practicing regenerative agriculture. It unveils the dark side of how money, power, and politics have created our broken food system. And it uplifts us with stories of white, Black, and Indigenous farmers working to make transformative difference. It's rich with stories, faith, and hope. So, please join us for a light dinner at the Restorative Justice Center on September 26th at 5:30. The center is on Broadway in Kingston, near Broadway Lights. Okay, I already said that. To reserve your spot, go out that door after church, look kind of down to your left, and there's a poster. There's a CRQ code that will bring you to the link, or there's also other information, or just see me, but please reserve your spot if you'd like to join us. Thank you.
I saw the movie and it was real eye-opener, real eye-opener. Changed sort of the way that I'm actually eating these days. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We are guided by the values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, yeah, pluralism. I can't, pluralism. Yeah, after you've heard me for a while, you'll know I stumble on words. Interdependence and generosity, centered always in the power of love. We draw on many sources of wisdom and inspiration as we seek to understand the world, the universe, and the mystery beyond all human knowing. At UU Catskills, we seek to live our values in every part of our lives. We affirm that Black Lives Matter. We are a welcoming and affirming congregation of the LGBTQ+ community. We are a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network, and we are an active voice in the efforts to address climate change. Our sanctuary is built on tribal land of the Lenni Lenape people, which is currently known as Kingston. I invite you to take a breath, settle down, settle in as we listen to our prelude this morning, which is two guitars played on the piano, a traditional song by Catherine Catalali. So I invite the children up to light the chalice, if anyone wants to come up. Over here, back here. Wait, Jake, please, come back up here. Mama, right here. Okay, all right. I got lots of young people. Okay, you can stay there, good. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so go ahead, Jake, if you want. Slide it, and then, so we say these words. We light this chalice in grateful, loving community, even in the darkest of times. Its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. You might have to tilt the candle a little, huh? Just a second. Okay. All right. Thank you, children. We're going to do our unison affirmation now. May we be reminded of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated but connected in wonder and joy, ministry, in the community, and in each other.
I'm Vickie O'Dougherty. My pronouns are she, her. Our opening words today are titled We Belong to Each Other, and the author is Reverend Gretchen Haley. We are keepers of hope, holders of memory, storytellers and song weavers, pulling on this thread of truth, this other march of history that might otherwise fail to find its footing. That life is filled with kindness, bold beauty, courageous compassion, sacrifice for the common good, and a wide willingness to embrace neighbors and strangers as kin. We are here to do the work of hope, remembering the past, remembering ourselves, imagining our most possible future for this life that teeters too often on the edge of forgetting. We belong to each other. Bring all you are, every shadow and every light, every hope, every fear for this radiant hour. Come, let us hope for each other. Come, let us worship together. Now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. 128.
For all that is our
not for children only moment. Okay, it's a story by Christopher Buse, and it's called Enemies. Once there was a little girl who was queen of an island. One day, an advisor said to her, "Your Majesty, the people on this island are good, but we must be aware of the people on the next island, for they are our enemies." "Our enemies?" replied the queen. "How terrible!" "Yes, it is terrible," said the advisor, "for our little island will never be safe while we have enemies. We must find a way to get rid of our enemies." "You are quite right," said the queen. "Do you have any ideas?" "I do indeed," said the advisor. "We can take our army, put it on a ship, sail it over to the other island, and then our army can march on shore and destroy the enemy." Queen was not so sure this was a good idea. "Thank you for sharing your ideas," said the queen, "but I need some more time to think about it all. Can you come back tomorrow?" "Yes, Your Majesty," said the advisor, and bowed. When the advisor "We must get rid of our enemies." Queen looked at her advisor with eyes that were calm and steady. "You have been a good advisor, and you were right. We have to get rid of our enemies. You would have me destroy my enemies by conquering them with an army. But the best way to get rid of your enemies is to make them your friends." That's the end of our story. Now, off you go, everybody. There they go. Bye. Got a big group today. And blessed be. Our meditation today is titled, "Know You Are Not Alone and Discover the Way Our Voices Rise," by Reverend Gretchen Haley. For this one moment, know only that you are loved, that you are safe and whole and loved. Know that you belong here, here among us, here upon this earth, in your body, however tired or broken your heart may be, whatever fear, disappointment, anger you carry. For this hour, know you are not alone. Feel the presence of others surrounding you, breathing beside you and with you, discovering together the way our voices rise and fall together, in harmony, in hope. Claim here a resilient freedom, the choice for love, for light, to live with joy and gratitude and praise as a form of resistance. And with this breathing of one breath, this sacred belonging, may we now enter into a time of silence together. is now time for our offering. You can give in several ways. Drop something in the basket when it is passed. Use the QR code on the back of the order of service. Or give by going to uucatskills.org. We contribute to worthy organizations with our half-plate donation. The money will be shared among 8 charitable groups in our area, and so please give generously. Our offertory music this morning is Preludio Cubano by Amadeo Roland y Gaides, and that's played by Catherine Catabian. In the spirit of generosity that serves our world, we give thanks for your offerings. The homily this morning is titled Deciding Not to Belong, and it's by Reverend Julie Stoneberg. We participated in a Unitarian Universalist Association program called Soul Matters, which provides us with readings and sermons by UU ministers and others, which have been secured. We've gotten permission to use their words. Today's sermon has some elements that are applicable to life at the Unitarian Fellowship of Peterborough, but to be true to the author, I am true to the words that she wrote, so interpret as you wish. Deciding not to belong. There is a gross error implied in the title of my message today, Deciding Not to Belong. And so bear with me as I wind my way toward connecting it. I want to begin by attending to the song which we began worship. I'm Going to Live the Life I Sing About in My Song was written by Thomas A. Dorsey, first recorded by Mahalia Jackson about a month before I was born in 1954. I'm not talking about the band leader Tommy Dorsey. Thomas Andrew Dorsey is considered the father of Black gospel music. He lived and worked in Chicago and spent his life traveling from church to church, peddling his repertory of gospel songs, which included Precious Lord, among dozens of others. This was the opening song on Mahalia Jackson's first album on the Columbia label, and is also the song she sang on the stage of the Democratic National Convention in 1956, surrounded by a whole cadre of white men in suits. And you can actually look it up online, I did. And there's a picture of her with a bunch of guys around her. Okay. On the face of it, it's a song about living one's Christian values. Walk the straight and narrow, stand up for what is right. If you go to church on Sunday, you can't also go out drinking on Saturday night. I heard that. The Wikipedia reminds me that Black gospel music has its origins in slavery when Africans were introduced to the Christian religion. This first resulted in the emergence of the spiritual songs of both jubilee and sorrow. It is the combination of those spirituals with Protestant hymns which birthed modern Black gospel music. And since spirituals so often sang of deliverance and passed along messages of freedom, I can't help but believe that Black gospel music contains some of that too. Acclaiming for Black Christians a musical genre that was their own, a vehicle to express what was not accessible in mainline Protestant music, a way to fit in while at the same time holding tight to their own reality and identity. And when I look at that picture of Mahalia Jackson singing in the midst of a powerful white male cloud of witnesses, I can imagine it as a subversive testimony for the survival of her people. Did she feel belonging on that stage? Or in the words of this song, what might she have felt in the moment? When have you ever felt that you had to do that kind of testifying? A question in the belonging theme packet asked if you've ever sacrificed your integrity for belonging, which suggests that sometimes we might do all manner of bending of our values, of identity, of comfort, in order to feel we belong. I suppose today's message asks the inverse, have you ever been willing to sacrifice belonging for integrity? Have you ever walked away from someone or some group or some place because to stay would mean that you would give up some vital part of yourself? In conversation about today's service, Ben, whoever he is, made me aware of Ursula Le Guin's short story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, first published in 1973. I'd not read it before, have you? It tells the story of an idyllic and happy community whose well-being is dependent on keeping a child prisoner in feces-infested solitary confinement. A child that everyone knows about, but a situation they are willing to ignore because they know that their lifestyle relies upon maintaining that painful status quo. But the story ends by telling of several individuals who fell silent for a day or two and then walked straight out of the city. Alone, Le Guin writes. The place they go towards is a place even less imaginable to those of us than the city of happiness. I cannot describe it at all. It is possible that it does not exist, but they seem to know where they are going, the ones who walk away from Omelas. So have you ever walked away from Omelas? Have you ever given up the comfort of some blissfully blind group energy for the sake of your integrity or your soul? Well, a person can hardly wander around the internet these days researching integrity and belonging without stumbling into Brené Brown. Integrity, Brown says, is choosing courage over comfort. It is choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy. It's about choosing to practice your values rather than simply professing them. Integrity, then, is about choosing to live the life you sing about in your song, whatever your song might be. And according to Brown, true belonging is what you carry in your heart. It's finding the sacredness of being part of something. And now I must reveal the error in today's title. I do not actually believe that we ever need to sacrifice our belonging. It's not even possible. We can't decide not to belong. We belong no matter what. What we have to choose is whether or not fitting in is worth what we lose by bending. What we have to choose is whether or not we will look away from what must be imprisoned in order to fit in. Fitting in, you see, is a very different thing than belonging. Deciding not to fit in would have been a much more accurate title. I think that the urge to fit in is the result of us feeling orphaned from our belonging. In her book, Belonging, Remembering Ourselves Home, Toko Pa Turner writes of the many ways we are orphaned from our inalienable belonging. It happens when our gifts are not understood, when the system demands our loyalty but ignores the uniqueness, when wars of intolerance make us refugees, and when our culture forces us to split off what we are told or our unwanted parts of ourselves. And Turner says, this leaves us with an absence that creates a great longing in us, while at the same time creating shame for our unbelonging. As our isolation and alienation increases, we feel alone in our unbelonging. At our last Journeys group, this is theirs, I think most of us were shocked to hear how many others feel they don't belong. It's epidemic. So it makes complete sense that we try so hard in so many ways to fit in, rather than seeking out places where our integrity is welcome, and rather than claiming the right to belong wherever we are, we do everything we can to pretend we belong, to choose not to see what is being harmed in making that choice. These times are calling on us to claim our belonging. The world needs those of us who can ground ourselves in our home, the earth, who can find and know our unique songs, and who then sing those songs with integrity. Brene Brown says that to live with integrity requires courage. But I don't think it's enough to say that. It leaves us hanging. We need to be competent in the work of belonging. We need skills that will help us remember that we are home, here, now, always. Turner writes of these competencies, and while time won't allow me to go into such depth as each of them demands, I want to at least offer you a brief summary. She begins by writing of how many of us are disconnected from our people's history, including the songs, stories, and wisdom ways. These ancestral connections, she says, would offer us a position inside belonging, where we might feel richer and stronger by virtue of this inheritance. I think this is what is happening for many indigenous people as they reconnect with their traditional ways and wisdom. Turner speaks of this as a journey of reconciliation backward through time, and a choice not to forget where we came from. She goes on to list commitment as the first competency. Belonging is hard work, and it takes repeated practice at showing up again and again, even when the rest of the eggs in your dozen drive you to distraction. Then comes the competency of handmaking, a surprising way to belong. But Turner speaks of how creating with our hands reconnects us with our own beginnings as well as our ancestral story. As we weave or knit or carve, we connect to the materials and to our teachers and to our bodies, all of which contribute to belonging. She then suggests that we allow ourselves to receive the pleasure of being at home in our own skins and of feeling well there, wherever and with whomever we find ourselves. This receiving of pleasure opens us up to inherent worthiness and can fill us with gratitude. The next competency is in being approachable to life itself, a quality that includes such things as extending invitations, offering hospitality, and embodying and accepting life's ambiguities. Being approachable also requires us to slow down and make room. Then Turner talks about story wells and song lines, reminding us that we are all made of stories and how it is important to continually edit and restory our lives. As we write and tell and sing our own stories and our own songs, it allows us to behave as if, so that in their telling, we actually help bring into being the life and the world we imagine. Another competency is to tend a village, which Turner sees as a more proactive way to talk about community. In a village, we work for the common good, find a shared sense of values, create circles and rituals, and respect and learn from elders. There, we also have to allow ourselves to be seen and to let others share in our hardships. The final competency Turner lists is that of reciprocity with nature, to restore and reconnect with the natural world. As we remember how to be part of an ecosystem, we restore the value of having and holding together within all creation. Living in our integrity requires courage, and the courage gets support when we practice competencies. I've long thought that this is what religious community is all about, that it's a kind of laboratory for the practice of beloved community, or in Turner's words, for the practice of village mentality. This is why I chose We Shall Be Known for the meditation music, not today. I find it to be a song about who we aspire to be, a singing into being of the kind of community we long for, where we are known as the ones who tend the fires and who sow seeds of change. A song that says, it is time now. It is time to thrive, to be alive, and to lead with love. It may seem that I have strayed far from the topic, but in truth, my title's admonition to walk away from belonging. All right. Hold on. To walk away from belonging is, in order to maintain your integrity, is just wrongheaded. None of us should ever feel that in order to save ourselves, we need to isolate, to be alienated, to be the last leaf on the tree clinging to empty principles, or to walk away from Omelis alone, like some kind of self-righteous hero. But neither must we stay in Omelis. You see, to walk away from Omelis is to follow our longing, which is not a turn toward isolation, but a turn toward the light and toward belonging. To respond to the elemental gravity that attracts toward us the life and world we want for ourselves. At the beginning of her book, Turner offers a blessing of sorts for all those who realize that Omelis is not home and that they must leave. I end with excerpts from that blessing, as well as from the concluding chapter. May you recognize with increasing vividness that you know what you know. May you be willing to be unlikable and in the process be utterly loved. May you see with the consummate clarity of nature moving through you that your voice is not only necessary, but desperately needed to sing us out of this muddle. May you know for certain that even as you stand by yourself, you are not alone. May you know that there is a place within us where everything should be allowed to flower in its own time and way, and that the real reward of your quest is to fling your doors open and let your life become a shelter of belonging. Blessed be. Our closing hymn is number 389. If you can, please rise in body or spirit. 389, Gathered Here, and it's a round, but we're going to do two parts. And Catherine's going to start us off, and I'm going to jump over here. And you people in the middle just figure out where you want to go, okay?
So I'll play it through once, and we'll sing it in unison. warm you up. And then, who knows?
Gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in this one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in this one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in this one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near.
So the closing words this morning are by John O'Dougherty. Yay! May the frames of your belonging be large enough for the dreams of your soul. May you know the eternal longing which lives at the heart of time. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you, mind you, and embrace you in belonging.
Please join me in the extinguishing the flame words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Thank you all. Have a peaceful, wonderful day. Go in peace.